I've been done dirty. I've been bamboozled.
Yes.
I've been betrayed. I've been swindled.
You knew that was coming.
Pause. Maybe not a great way to come in after we mentioned Salty Nuts, Cam. But, all right. I'm Brian McDonald. I've been betrayed. I don't trust anybody else in this room right now, nor Michael Carroll. But he is Cam Smith to my right, Johnny Belmer behind the glass. I'm keeping an eye on both of you the rest of the show.
Well, I didn't know about it. There was a moment where I was like, "Oh no, did I just play the wrong thing?"
I guess Michael did that. Wait, okay. Someone had to send him the audio. Was that you?
It was not.
So you had no idea that was
listening.
happening.
Remember, he heard this.
Yeah.
I know he heard it because he sent the text.
So he did it.
Well, I'm just trying. I know Cam didn't pull the audio and send it to him.
Nope.
Belmer didn't pull the audio and send it to him.
Michael Carroll pulled the audio himself.
So Michael Carroll went rogue and just decided to alter our open.
Yeah. This is
I
a Michael
invited
Carroll
that man
special.
onto the show just a few weeks ago to promote his podcast and the show on 97.5 Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. You Comicast along with Zhang Li. And then he stabs me in the back like that? Damn, man.
You got to invite him on the show next time and then just not
I
ask
actually
him.
was thinking of, you know what? We might alter the show rundown today. We might call Michael Carroll. Because I honestly, if I was looking at the run, I was like, are we light? If we're light, I'm going to call Michael Carroll today. But I decided, as I was getting into it, I was like, no, we've got enough stuff. We'll talk to Michael Carroll next week. But maybe we alter the Google Doc a little bit today and call Michael Carroll in the second hour. So stay tuned. We may have an on-air confrontation with Michael Carroll, who altered our open. Again, Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, and John Belmer with you here on the Bullpen. Thank you for joining us. We're here until 2 o'clock today, and we'll be with you noon to 2 most days throughout the rest of spring and then summer. There'll be a few days here and there. I've got a trip up to Michigan in June and a few other days here and there that we'll miss. But there's no Aggies basketball or football that would take us off the air until September, so we'll be here most weeks. But speaking of confrontations, we were going to lead the show with the tournament, our reaction to what happened with the Cougs and the Longhorns and all the other games that have been going on in March Madness, including the games that took place on Thursday at Toyota Center. But we're going to have to take a little right turn here, Cam and John, because something happened on the way in today. Unfortunately, it was something that's happened multiple times to me, either going to or coming from work. And that is, I was run into. And so, look, ordinarily, obviously it's annoying. You never want to be run into, right? Oh, you got to stop. You got to get information, especially when you're going to work and you're still trying to think of, what you want to do in the show. Like, it's obviously going to be a thorn in your side no matter what, even if it goes well. But this didn't even go well for the normal. Johnny already has questions. I can. It seems like.
Well,
what do you got for me, Johnny?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah, that would be the first question. But.
Yeah, I'm fine. It was not a hard contact. It was kind of like stop and go over that elevated portion that passes by Dyken Park. And dude just wasn't paying attention. So when I moved a little bit forward and then had to stop, he didn't stop.
Well, wait a second. You said this is my question. This has happened to you multiple times. Are you sure it's not something you're doing?
Each time I've been hitting. Well, once was a Metro bus that sideswiped me.
Oh my God.
I was just stopped at a light, and there was a light where so I was on the left. There was two. It was either 2 or 3 lanes going through, and then a left-hand turn only lane. And so I was in the leftmost go through lane. And the Metro bus went into the turn only lane to my left and just took off my side mirror.
Well, at least you were just gently hit from behind. Am I right?
I was going to, instead of saying pause, I was just going to pause to let Cam have to sit in that embarrassment. So there was that, and there was another time when I was headed out to Citizen Avenue Brewing for Soccer Matters remote, where similar today, stop and go traffic, and someone just didn't stop and ran into me.
Did they stop? Or did they keep going?
Well, that's where the story gets into.
Ooh.
I told Johnny before the show, I gave him a tease. Like, I called the cops today, and here's why. So, but I didn't give Johnny the full rundown of it. I wanted to save it for the show. So, okay, I get hit. Whatever. Get out, get the information, get the license, get the insurance, take a few pictures, you move on. I go to work, and We deal with this later. That was my expectation when I stepped out of my truck after getting hit. Bro steps out, immediately has an attitude. And I was like, hey, man, what happened? Like, I didn't know if he was on his phone, if he just didn't see it or whatever. He's like, nothing happened. You're fine. I'm like, okay. like he's like, you don't have any damage to your car. My car's fine. Let's move on. I'm like, well, I don't know if there's any damage. Like, you can't see underneath the car. Like, a lot of times if you get hit from behind, especially I'm in a truck, he was in a smaller, like, sedan. Like, that damage could be underneath where it wouldn't show, like, necessarily on the bumper, right? Yeah. It's like, look, look, man, I'm just going to get the information, take a few pictures. We'll let, insurance and all that handle it. It's like, what if I just give you $100 and we move on? I'm like, no, man. Like, if there is damage underneath, $100 is not going to cover it, right? Like, have you ever been hit, had to have damage repaired, and it cost $100 or less?
Never.
That has never happened once in the history of man. I'll tell you why, because everyone's deductible is at least like $250.
Yeah.
At least, right?
I mean, $100 would probably cover like 1 hour of labor.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
If that, right. Like, there's no way I'm walking out of any sort of work repair from a wreck like that. Or not, wreck's probably too strong. Again, it wasn't that all
Fender
that hard.
bender.
Fender bender, yeah. There's no way you're walking out of that without at least $500 being spent, right?
Yeah.
So he sent me $100, and so this goes back and forth. I'm forgetting some of the things he said there, but he was argumentative and heated the whole time for some reason. Even though, dude, I'm like 6 inches taller, and it's like, bro, I will snap you in half. I didn't because I got a 4-year-old, and I don't want to do time for beating someone's ass on the side of the road outside of Dyken Park, right? I'm not trying to get that headline on the news. Agitated 42-year-old beats ass in front of Dyken Park. Like, I don't need that headline on the dyingcron.com, okay? So I let some of those comments go. I was like, look, man, I'm not going to argue with you. And this is pretty much word for word what I said. It's like, dude, don't argue with me. I forgot about this part. So as he's trying to just like, hey, I'll give you $100. Hey, it's not a big deal. You have no damage. I have no damage. Just move on. He's like, yeah, but man, I'm sorry, man. I'm running late to the gym. I got to get there now. I got to go. Like, you need to go to the gym. Like, I told him, like, man, I'm going to work. There's never been a time. Look, I respect people who work out a lot. Cam, I know you go to the gym a lot. There's never been a time anyone who's gone to the gym had to get there right away.
No.
Maybe you have a scheduled like training class. Sure, you want to be there on time, but that's superseded by you hitting someone on the highway.
Yeah, that's something you can easily call and push back or reschedule.
Reschedule,
yeah.
Right? Like, this is not a big deal. Like, I was just taken aback that his "we must end this conversation now" reason was, I'm headed to the gym.
Man, he must have double dosage on his pre-workout or stuck himself in the butt with a needle because he was angry.
Did you ever find out if he did have insurance?
That's where I'm going next. Okay. So I finally get to the point where I cut him off and I start to like raise my voice and like use my size a little bit. I'm like, dude, shut up. Just get your license and your insurance. Let us take the photos and we can move on. And you can get to your GD gym, right? And so I was like, do you have a license? He's like, I've got a photo of it. I'm like, oh my God. All right, give me a photo of it. So he goes to his car, pulls out his phone. I'm like, okay, you have it? He's like, give me a second. So he leans against the guardrail and he's scrolling through his phone and he finally produces a picture of his license. So I snap a picture on my phone of a picture on his phone of his license. And by that time, I've also taken a picture of his license plate and his tag.
Yeah.
So I've got in like a wider view picture of his car. So I've got his information, and now I also have his license information. He's like, "You got a ID?" I say, "Yeah, of course. Let me go get it." So I go to my truck to get the license out of my car. Bro pulls out and leaves. Like, I still hadn't got his insurance yet. I still would have taken, a few more pictures just because I took like one quick one so I could see his license plate. But I would have taken like a lower angle picture, just something that would have showed, I would also have taken a picture of where I was so they would because sometimes like the adjusters like to have pictures of exactly where you are so they know the situation. So there was still that to be taken. I hadn't got his insurance yet. I don't even know if he has insurance. He never answered that question. And he just took off.
Bye, bitch.
Yeah, that's what he said to me. Chunked the deuce, and he was out.
What? Let me ask you. So you took some pictures.
Yeah.
2 questions.
Okay.
When the bump happened, how hard did it feel? Did it feel like you were gonna have damage? And then 2, like, did you actually see any damage at all?
It was not hard enough to where I would say it was like a 3.5 out of 10. It was enough to where
hard
like
enough. Yeah.
I thought I didn't see any. Again, I was trying to get to work and things happened that distracted me. I didn't see any damage on the bumper. But again, small car. He's driving small car. I'm driving truck. It could be underneath.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to like, especially on the shoulder right outside Dyken Park. I'm not going to go underneath the truck and look for damage with my cell phone
I wouldn't suggest
while also
that.
trying to get to work. So there is definitely a chance that there's not anything worth fixing. But I don't know that. And you don't take off when you haven't given your insurance yet. So, yeah, I called the cops on the way to work. I still feel kind of like lame about doing it, but it's mostly like, F that guy, man. Like the attitude the whole time, trying to like, oh, just give you $100. Oh, I'm late to the gym. And then pulling off before we're done exchanging information. I was just like, F that guy. Now, the cops didn't pick up, so I'm going to have to again call after work.
Honestly,
I got his information.
If the guy would have got out and been like, I'm so sorry, are you okay?
Apologized.
I wouldn't have had
never
really
apologized. Said he did nothing. Claimed there was, without even looking at my truck, claimed there was no damage to my truck. Tried to give me $100 for it, which wouldn't cover anything. Gives a lame excuse about the gym. Gives me attitude about getting his license, which he doesn't even have physically on him, and then pulls away without giving me his insurance.
Yeah.
Like, you stack all those things together, I'm like, you know what? I'm making an exception for your ass. I'm calling the cops. You know what I also found out? I found out where he lives because I have his license.
Oh, no.
He lives pretty close to where I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to do – no, this is not like it's something to play back in court later. Like, man admits he's going to harm a person he had altercation with on the road. But it's just kind of funny that, like, he lives one town over from where I live.
One town over.
Yeah.
Do explain.
Well, I live in Kingwood.
Oh.
He lives in Porter.
Oh my!
Which is Johnny knows
right there.
That's very close. Depending on what part of Porter he lives in, it could be like a 20-minute drive, or it could be like a 5-minute drive from where I am.
That's a good point, Cam.
What'd you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What gym is he going to?
If you're in Porter, why are you on this side of town going to the gym?
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, okay.
That was a lie for sure.
Great point.
Because wouldn't that be like an hour drive?
From where I was, it'd be at least 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know there's gyms out there.
Oh no, there's like, I don't know what place he goes to, but he would have had to pass up at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Planet Fitnesses before he even got past Humble.
Did he look like a Planet Fitness guy?
No, he was in shape. He was in shape.
Oh, so he might go to like one of those EOS or app.
He was in full sweats. I know. I mean, it was a little chilly outside, but that was like, it's like, you don't really look like you're in workout clothes, but whatever. I don't know. I was just gonna let that one go. But you make a good point, Cam. If you're going to the gym, like maybe he doesn't. Maybe the license is old, right? Maybe he doesn't live in Porter anymore. But the address did show Porter.
Yeah, it was at least his picture on the license. He didn't try to pawn it off.
It kind of looked like his hair was much longer now than it was in the ID, but I think it was him. I don't know. Wow. If it's not, I still have it. I still have the license plate of the car and the registration tag.
Yes, and he made it a lot worse for himself by driving away.
Yeah, that's
he's gonna have a rude awakening.
I don't call the cops on anything like noise, people, whatever. Like I handle it yourself, right? That's always been the way I felt. Like if it needs to be handled, handle it yourself. But it's like, F this guy. I'm not in the mood for this. I'm going to call him after work. I don't know what they'll do or not do. It's probably not even worth their time. But hopefully they can maybe give him a ticket for leaving the scene of an accident before all the information is exchanged. I guess that's what I'm shooting for here.
I mean, I'm sure.
But am I in the right here for calling the cops on this dude?
Yeah, because honestly,
okay,
I was in a similar situation. I mean, this was many years ago, and granted, my little sister was in the backseat because I just picked her up. But it was like the similar situation where you said the Metro bus. So I'm in the optional lane to take a left or go. Oh no, I'm in the far left lane where you have to take a left. No, sorry.
So you're not. Oh wait,
I'm in the
are you in the
optional.
left turn?
I'm in the optional left lane where you can go straight or take a left.
Okay, so not a left turn only lane.
He's in the left only lane, and
Okay.
he goes. I turn. He goes straight. He hits like the back end of my car,
Oh,
and
so he tries to swerve in to go straight.
he tries to go straight,
Right.
in an only left turning.
We have
lane.
that problem if you're going down Richmond right near work.
Yeah.
I think it's at Sage.
Yeah.
Like one light before ours. I don't know if you come that way, but it was like one light before I guess that'd be North Rice or South.
I know what
Rice.
you're talking about.
Yeah, the one light at Sage. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
They get over and don't realize it, and then they try to cut across.
Um,
Anyway, sorry.
So hit me, and luckily there's a Valero like right across the street. So we pull into the Valero, and granted, I have my little like sister in the car, so like that's what I'm more like concerned and like frustrated about. So I get out, take pictures of like my car, take pictures of his car, get his license, and then as I go back to the car, he takes off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now the crazy thing was,
So had you gotten any pictures yet?
I had gotten pictures. I had gotten like,
See, that's the thing that like with what happened to you and then what happened to me today. Like he saw me take pictures of his car.
Yeah.
Like the driveway is insane to me. Like it's so easy to find you at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But he thinks there's zero chance with the amount of damage that you're gonna actually do anything about it, or the cops are gonna do anything about it.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I guess I'm more hoping to hassle him. Really.
Yeah.
I just want to make a few days of his life.
Well, when you
less
rear-end
enjoyable.
somebody and then you get out with attitude, you
Yeah.
deserve to be hassled.
yeah. Well, the
So,
thing was, there was actually like damage to me, but this guy takes off. So
Oh yeah.
I call insurance. I call the cops. They find him. Turns out this kid is like 18,
Mhm.
and he took his mom's car out while she was out of
Oh.
town. So
I wonder if that's some. This guy was definitely 20s, right? I would say he's maybe 25ish.
yeah.
The guy that hit me today. I wonder if there's something like that that's going on with this.
Well, I think this kid was just freaked out that he was not supposed to be in his,
Well, that's what
his
I'm
mom's car.
saying. I
'Cause
wonder
his
if that's-
mom's the one that called me back and was like, I could tell that she was furious at him because now she's basically having to foot the bill.
Right.
And the thing was, is because my sister was in the car and it was a clear hit and run, like the cops were like, do you want to press charges? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to the kid, but I do expect to have this car completely fixed.
Should I press
so-
charges? 713-780-3776. Someone who has already texted in on the HRMP listener line. You should do too. Call in if you want to as well. From 8632 BMAC. You sure you didn't get hit by Tiger Woods from YouTube Keith? Well done, YouTube Keith. You win the text of the day so far. So yeah, well, I don't know how far I'm willing to take this. I think I'm willing to take this as far as he's not apologetic. Like if he again, I think you just said, Johnny, I think just said this. Like if he had gotten out of the guitars or out of the car and was like, man, my bad. Like I didn't react in time. Like I got distracted by my radio. Just like an apology, like a normal person. Like, hey, here's my ID, here's my insurance. My bad, man. Cool. Like I'll still send it to the insurance, obviously, if there's damage, but I'm not going to call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would be an a-hole move on my part, but for some reason he decided to be the a-hole, and now I'm going to return a-holeness tenfold.
Karma.
Yeah, tenfold. Let that be the lesson. If you're a-hole to me, respect it tenfold in return.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. All right, we got to get out because we got to talk about these March Madness tournament games. Unfortunately, both the Cougs and the Longhorns eliminated, but we'll talk about all when we get back here on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
Welcome back to the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, and John Belmer with you here until 2 o'clock. If you want to join in the conversation, tell me if I should press charges or not, or maybe you want to talk about the Cougs, the Astros, or the Rockets. Give us a call or a text at 713-780-3776. That is the HRMP listener line, 713-780-3776. So, Cam, our beloved Cougs, more so are you, beloved Cougs, because I have other allegiances as well, although I do root for the city. Their season came to an end on Thursday night with a loss to Illinois, a game that, although Houston made their runs and got the game to close enough to where I think it probably gave Cougs fans hopes a few times in the second half. Ultimately, Illinois pretty much controlled Houston, other than that flurry to end the first half, finished with the Kingston Flemings 3 that cut the lead to just 2 going in halftime. And then second half, for the most part, other than a few Cougs runs, was all Illinois. But your overall takeaways from that game and how the Cougs season ended?
Man, it was rough. I'm not going to lie. I think out of like this little stretch of all these like seniors and stuff that have been on this team, I think this is obviously like the worst and like the hardest loss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kelvin's going to bring in a great class. There's no doubt about that. But you look at the squad, and obviously they're going to lose Sharp and Uzan, who are seniors. Flemings, we know, is going pro because he's a lottery pick. I think if I had to bet, there's better chances than not Sanat goes pro. I would put it like 60-40 in the favor of him going pro. So you could be looking at, is JoJo Tugler a senior? I forget. Or is he a junior?
I think he's a junior.
I thought so too. I don't think he would go pro. So you could be looking at JoJo Tugler as the only returning starter. Yeah. And obviously Chase McCarthy would get elevated. Maybe Mercy Miller gets elevated to the starting lineup. And they'll bring in obviously a great class, a freshman class as well. But yeah, like you said, like it's a tough, because it kind of feels like, although losing LJ Cryer and Juwan Roberts the year before probably also felt like that. It kind of feels like you're losing an era. Not that you can't retool and reload, but you're kind of losing that era of Cougs basketball with Sharp and Uzan.
Oh yeah, because Sharp's been here all 4
more
years.
So with Sharp, I guess.
Uzan 2 years. I mean, obviously if Connect goes, he's 1 year. Flemings is like 1 year. But
1 year.
Man, it was a rough watch. And I mean, even in the beginning when I don't think they scored in the first like 3 minutes, I was like, okay, well, at least they're getting good looks. They're still playing like good defense. They're going to get it clicking at some point. And it wasn't like Illinois was applying like this great pressure or like this elite defense.
Did you just say Illinois?
Sorry, Illinois.
I almost let that one go. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be
My bad.
I'm going to be an a-hole today.
The Illinois fighting Illinois.
Your Illinois rear-ended me and gave me attitude, so I'm going to anyway.
But U of H, they could not make a bucket to save their life.
No,
and we talked about this
on the show for years.
On the show on last Saturday about how we needed those guards to step up, and I mean I think Sharp was like had the best percentage, and his was still like 40%, like 7 of 17 or something. And the crazy thing to me too is I don't know how they only
went 7 of 16,
7 of 16,
3 of 10 from 3.
I do not know how they only went to the free throw line twice.
Well, not only did they only go to the free throw line twice, they didn't go to the free throw line for the first time until like past the 5 minutes to go mark in the second half.
Yeah,
But that was one of my big takeaways of the game. And on Jeremy and Joe, we talked with the play-by-play guy for Illinois before the game, and he was mentioning this in our conversation with him. But Illinois' strategy on defense, kind of a 180 from the Cougs, where the Cougs want to be up in your face, pressure, disrupt pick and rolls, that sort of thing. And sometimes they can pick up some cheap fouls that way just because they're so aggressive. Illinois sags off and basically dares you to beat them with the jump shot. Like you saw, like every time, especially in the first half, the Cougs did figure out some things in the second half where they were able to get hard drives, like Sharp hit back-to-back, like pull-up mid-range jumpers, where he was able to drive and get into the paint and pull up and hit the jump shot. I think Flemings had a couple of those moments in the second half as well. Maybe Uzan did as well. But like in the first half, they would try to, dribble drive, kick out, dribble drive, get to the rim, especially Flemings and Sharp. And the way Illinois' defense in that zone would just kind of sag off to where they couldn't get the angle to get by their defender. Like it just completely flustered the Cougs' offense where they tried to drive. They couldn't get there because the way Illinois sagged off and didn't give them an angle, lane to the basket. And then they didn't have, a counter to that.
Yeah, and
the entire first half.
They didn't have any inside presence, and I think that's
that was the case all season, though.
Yeah, but even more to this game, I mean, I think the big men shot like 14 shots like total or something like that, but it was one of those things where, they sagged off, and I think that also prevented U of H doing what they do best, which is offensive rebounding. I think, I can't tell you the last game I saw where U of H got out-rebounded. And I
would say though, you're right. Like they definitely got hurt on the offensive glass, but I think Illinois is just bigger. I mean, that's part.
Oh,
of
they
it.
are. I mean,
they're bigger. Like Tugler has, the 7'6" wingspan, which we hear about every single Cougs game, along with Mercy Miller. Did you know his father's Master P?
I did know that.
It's kind of like the Cougs bingo you hear on every broadcast. But like Tugler's got the long wingspan, but he's like 6'8", right? Yeah. And then Sinak's tall, but he's also kind of thin, so he can get pushed around. Sacco's, a physical presence, but he's only going to play like 10 minutes a night. So I think that was obviously a big part of it. The Illinois defense to sag off, take away the shooting or take away the drive lanes, and then the Cougs just got pounded on the glass. And it felt like every time the Cougs, I have notes in my phone where back-to-back buckets for the Cougs. They get within however many, and then there's a run by Illinois that's sparked by like 2 or 3 offensive boards where they get all these second chances, and it just kills the momentum that the Cougs are building.
Yeah, and it's and then it goes back to them having to shoot their way back into it. But when you're shooting an abysmal 27% from 3, it's going to be really hard to make a comeback against a team that's shooting 40% from the 3. So, yeah, it was just. There were so many times in that game, like where I was at watching it at Little Woodrow's, where I could just see the entire crowd at 1 minute be just like totally out of it. And then U of H would go on like a little run and everybody would be like back into it. And then next thing you know, Illinois is making another run. And it just, I mean, did the Cougs ever lead?
No. Well, maybe early in the first half. I don't remember. But there was, the last gasp I felt like they had was, remember when McCarty hit those back-to-back threes, which honestly, I'm glad eventually Kelvin Sampson made that adjustment, and you're never going to hear me criticize strategy for a future Hall of Famer, but I think one thing that Kelvin probably would have looked back on and wish he'd done sooner was get McCarthy into the game, instead of that extra big at times. Just they needed his shooting, but he hit 2 threes back to back to cut the lead down to 9. The crowd got back into it, and then boom, seconds later, it felt like Illinois pushed the lead back up to 15. There was an offense. In my notes, it was they cut it to 9, then Illinois hit a 3 after an offensive board, then Wagler hit a 3. And pushed the lead all the way up to actually 17 from when McCarthy cut it to 9. I felt like that was just happening over and over again. This Sharp thing I mentioned earlier was another one where they got back shots from Sharp, and then there was Illinois tips around offensive boards and then pushes the lead back up a couple more possessions. But I guess if you were to boil that down into just kind of 3 key takeaways, the Cougs couldn't shoot. They were outmanned on the offensive glass, and they couldn't figure out a way to get past that shell that Illinois was playing to get to the bucket until basically it was too late in the second half.
Yeah, and also to the point of Cougs' defensive style of play, that they like to be physical and in your face, and it was just I'm not going to say it was the refs not letting them do it, but you could tell that Illinois' style of play, the fact that they only gave up 2 free throws compared to the Cougs with 21, it just nothing was going right.
Sure, I don't want to get too I'm mostly a guy that doesn't blame the officials anyway, but specifically with that game, the total number of times the line's going to be inflated because the Cougs had to foul late.
Oh yeah,
so that's going to inflate a number and make it look like it was a wider discrepancy. But to me, it's just Illinois' I know people are going to oh my God, only 2 free throws. The ref screwed them. But, show me. Now, there was definitely one where Sharp went to the lane and got fouled, and he made the bucket but didn't get the and one. I'm not saying there weren't any missed calls. Of course there were. But, that's just Illinois' style of defense.
Yeah.
Because they sag and don't challenge and just and try to get you to shoot jump shots, how often are you going to get fouled on jump shots? The Cougs weren't getting into the paint. They weren't getting past their man and getting a pass to the rim where you might get fouled when a guy goes up to contest the layup, right? So I think that's just Illinois' style of defense. And unfortunately, it's also what you mentioned earlier. They have no post game. If you're not able to get drives to the basket because of the style of defense and you have no post game, so you're just shooting jump shots, you're not going to get fouled.
Yeah,
unless Illinois just screws up, right?
You're just gonna shoot yourself out of the building.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and take a break here. We'll come back on the other side, talk about the Longhorns exit and a few other thoughts on the Sweet 16 heading into the Elite Eight. That and more when the Bullpen returns. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
Braden Smith with the ball. Clock ticks. Down to 6. Down to 5. Smith shaking, baking. Smith puts it up. No! The foul! It's good! With .7 left, Trey Kaufman-Renn has given Purdue the lead.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
I was going to make a joke like it felt like I was being rear-ended all over again, and then I rear-ended the rejoin by talking all over it. Sorry about that, Johnny. That was
at least you're not giving me attitude about it.
No, it wasn't your fault at all. It's totally on me. I would never do that. I've made that mistake on both sides of the class, I think, probably once or twice. Anyway, welcome back into the Bullpen. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, John Belmer with you here until 2 o'clock. We will get into the Astros, I promise, and the Rockets as well, but finishing up with some thoughts on March Madness, what's gone down in the Sweet 16, and looking ahead to the Elite Eight starting later today. That highlight, obviously, was Purdue's tip-in last-second win from Trey Kaufman-Renn to put the Purdue Boilermakers over the Texas Longhorns and make me very, very sad, 79-77. That was a tough watch. I mean, not tough watch, a tough watch as far as the ending that way, because I know you guys probably didn't see much of this game, but Voca Titus is pretty much the only big that Texas has. They do play this guy named Cody, but he's like 6'8" and kind of thin. Like, against any true big, he's going to get pushed around. And Voca Titus got in foul trouble pretty quickly. Played about 10 minutes less than he normally would. His minute count, where was it, 23? Where you're looking at the other guys like Swain and Mark and Pope, who are all like 33, 34, 39. So you lost about 10 minutes from your only true big. And Purdue, with their size, not only from Trey Kaufman-Renn, but also from Clough, just pushed the Longhorns around. It was miraculous the Longhorns were even in it as long as they were, and that it came down to a last-second tip-in. Former Coug, Tremont Mark. I don't know if you saw that performance, but he was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, he went off.
Tremont Mark, if you didn't see, 11 for 15 from the field, 29 points, 5 of 7 from 3. Like I think in the first half, his only misses were from 3, and a lot of those shots, at least 3 or 4 of them at the very least, came after he had just a horrible ankle injury, but taped it up and came back in the game and kept the Longhorns in it. Jordan Pope, who was also dealing with a ankle injury, also was pretty big from 3. It's like it felt like they were at the end. Like Texas has no business being in the game. Tremont Mark can barely move around. Jordan Pope can barely move around. Voka Titus is on the bench because he's in foul trouble. And somehow, against number 2 Purdue, they're still, or number 2 seed Purdue, they're still in this game. And to like the last closing sequence, I don't know if you saw the highlight, but like it was one of those times where because Texas had no size, Voka Titus was on the bench, they're playing offense for defense because he had 4 fouls. They had him off the court. So Dalen Swain, a small forward, was underneath the basket trying to get the rebound when Kaufman Wren basically put his forearm on his back and just kind of walked him underneath to where he had position and then tipped it in. It's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where if you're the coach and you're looking back, if the season hadn't just ended and you're trying to coach, it's like, dude, just fall. Like, because he's got his forearm on him, right?
Yeah.
Like, kind of walking him under the
Embellish
basket.
it a little bit.
It basically had Dalen Swain to where Dalen Swain was directly under the rim. So he had no chance to make a play on the ball at that point. Like, if you feel yourself getting pushed by, you're not going to be able to stop Kaufman Wren. He's too big, right? So just arms out, flail. Kind of like,
Are you advocating flopping?
yes, in that case, yes. See, the season's on the line, Johnny.
Yeah.
Would you rather flop and have it extend your season or not flop and
Well,
go home?
sure, I'd flop, but
Okay,
but,
there we go.
But I think you've had a non-flop stance before.
I don't know if I have. I don't know if I like. Yes, I'm
Okay.
against flopping in general, but if the game is on the line, do what you got to do. Like, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody's got their elbow on you and kind of
Yeah.
pushing you already, like
Yeah.
you're
No,
not
I'm
really
not saying what
flopping. You're
Kaufman
just.
Wren-
Ugh.
I'm not saying what Kaufman Wren was doing was egregious, although he did have some moments earlier in the game that were egregious. But that one wasn't that egregious. I'm just saying, like, if you're a Swain in that situation, you're not going to be physically strong enough to hold your ground. You're getting shoved under the rim. The only recourse you have at that point is go to the ground and hope they blow the whistle
Yep.
for you. So anyway, Texas season ends. They will not be going back to the Elite Eight, which they went to a few years ago. Other college hoops action last night. Of course, you had some of the Sweet 16 games. Duke overcomes St. John's. Duke, man, it feels like they should have lost 3 times already. They certainly should have lost to Siena.
Well, not to TCU.
Well, TCU was leading. I believe they led at half. Like it took a second half run for Duke to overcome that. You're right. That's probably the game that Duke controlled the most, but they still, I believe, trailed at halftime. And then St. John's last night, that game was close to halftime. St. John's gets out to a 10-0 lead, or not 10-0, but they increased their lead to 10 points early in the second half because Duke their star young point guard, what's his name here? I forgot it off for a second. Foster. Like he for some reason he was slow coming out of the locker room. I think from the injury that caused him to miss the last couple games probably. But while he was not on the court, St. John's was just pressuring the crap out of Duke, turning him over, got out to a lead. But once Foster came back in the game and they could handle the pressure, it was pretty much all Duke after that.
Yeah, and that was, man, I think at that point, St. John's was kind of like my dark horse at that point. Like, I picked them to beat Duke, and in my head, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if these dudes make it to, like, the Final Four. But
they obviously, Ejiofor is great, and they have some dudes that can really pressure and get to the rim. They just struggle from shot selection occasionally, which is funny because it was the dude that hit the game winner against Kansas, not Bryce Hopkins. Why did that name come up? Darling. I was trying to find his first name, but when I clicked on it, I guess I fat fingered it and I couldn't find it. Oh well. Anyway, Darling, who hit the game winner against Kansas, was just jacking up some crazy threes, including one from like 10 feet beyond the arc, down just a couple points there at the
Curry
end.
ball.
Yeah, it was just it was not good. Alabama, Michigan. Alabama just doesn't have size. That's pretty much the end of that game. Like it was. Alabama did get, I think, as much of a 9-point lead earlier in the game, but especially in the second half, it was it was a quote from Nate Oates who talking about before the game. It's like, we got to play basketball, not to let them play football. And that's basically what it became in the second half. Michigan just has so much more size than Alabama. And
Yeah.
if Alabama's not hitting their shots from the outside, it was
Well, I
game,
mean,
set, match.
in Alabama, we know, especially the last couple of years, that they can score with the best of them. But yeah, like you said, they were just completely undersized compared to Michigan. And
And Michigan did their best, especially early, to like let Alabama stay in the game. They only shot 34. I forget what the exact number was, but like that, the game was, I believe, a short or close Alabama lead. I'm gonna find the exact number here, but a close Alabama lead entering halftime, and it just, as the second half wore on, like the size of Michigan just became more and more of a problem for Alabama. Where they just, anytime it was kind of like the UH Illinois game, like when they did get the stop, but the shot went up, like they just.
Which is funny because I feel like we talk all the time about how like a successful run in the tournament involves really, really good guard play. But here we're talking about all these games, and the thing that we point out is the size. Like,
yeah, Michigan had a 46-32 edge on the boards. And yeah, it was just
same thing with Illinois. I was like 43-34. Like it's maybe guard play gets you to the tournament and starts your run.
Well, I think it's just, you can't be. It's not that you necessarily need dominant bigs. You just can't get bullied. You just need at least bodies out there to just get a rebound. It's not. I think what you're saying with the guard play is like, you don't need the dominant low post score per se. You just can't get bullied on the glass.
Yeah.
That's where it comes down to. In Michigan State, UConn, because I mean, we could talk about Iowa State, Tennessee, but that's pretty much as simple as Iowa State still doesn't have Jefferson, and Tennessee overwhelmed them. UConn, Michigan State, man, Michigan State had a real chance to win. It shot just 34% in the first half. UConn was up to a big of a lead as 19 in the first half. Michigan State reeled them in and actually took a lead with 10 minutes left to go in the second half. But too much Terrace Reed in down the stretch. Like I don't know where he ends up going in the draft whenever he comes out, but I loved that guy's post game. Like he was and Michigan State has size. They've got two big guys with Cooper, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name off the top of my head. But it wasn't like Terrace Reed was just in there, scoring against a bunch of 6'5" guards because they didn't have any size to throw at him. Like Michigan State has legit a couple of like 6'10" dudes with, Well,
that's how they were able to handle Louisville so easily.
Right. And Michigan State did a good job on the glass when they did miss. It's just they couldn't stop Terrace Reed inside, and then some of the shooters outside for UConn were having good nights whenever they would swing the ball. But so you're looking at Elite Eight right now, Cam.
Mm-hmm. I am,
starting with the games today: Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Arizona. Who do you have advancing?
Man, you know what, that Iowa-Illinois one is really intriguing because if you were to ask me who's been the most impressive, I would have to say those two. But I feel like Illinois, even though they have two 20-point wins, it's been against two double-digit seeds.
Right.
I think I'm going to go Iowa. I think I'm going to
go opposite there. I've been really impressed by Illinois, and I think the other one's an easy Arizona for me. How do you feel?
I think Arizona might be the best team in the tournament, so I'm going to
hard agree. All right, two more. Let's go quickly here. Tennessee, Michigan, Duke, UConn.
I'm going to go Michigan and UConn.
Yeah, same. I think Tennessee run comes to an end here. Like I think they've been playing a little bit above their head and had the benefit from playing a team yesterday in Iowa State who's missing their best player in Jefferson.
Well, and Michigan was arguably like the best team for the start and middle of like this season.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of shook the confidence is when they went and played against Duke on the East Coast and got their heads blown off. But otherwise Michigan's had a really good season. All right, we'll wrap up the March Madness conversation there. Talk about the Astros when we return here on ESPN Radio 97.5.
There goes out to left, away back, and long gone. Opening day blast for Mike Trout. Oh, Trout covered. That was a mammoth shot. That was a little 805. 108.5 off the bat.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
This is how it sounds when I don't talk over the open. Welcome back into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5, 97.9 HD2. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, John Belmer with you here for a little more than an hour left here. We're going until 2 o'clock. That, of course, was audio from Game 1 of Mike Trout taking Hunter Brown deep. Guess what? He did it again the next night. Mike Trout went deep on the Astros once again. I guess one takeaway from these first 2 days of Astros baseball is Mike Trout is back.
Mike Trout is back.
He now has more home runs of the season than he does have career playoff wins. Hey-oh. Take a shot there, Mike Trout, before to soften the blow and ease my own pain because the Astros might be terrible.
Well, Andy's almost he's almost to his stolen base total of last year. I think he had 2 last year. He already has 1.
He had 1 on opening day for against
his
the
very
Astros.
first plate appearance, walking a stolen base.
All right,
Great.
The Astros they might be terrible. Like we'll get into both games here in a second.
We know historically though they start very slow. But still, it's the Angels, and you've scored 2 runs.
Yeah.
Look, we know you got rear-ended today, but you don't have to be so cynical. We're 2 games into the season, dude.
It's just like okay.
I think maybe it's the combination of the lack of offense and the disappointment of Houston sports teams right now.
Yeah,
Overall,
I think it might be
loss.
compounded, but like I was disappointed by the Cougs. I was disappointed by the Longhorns. The Rockets have been depressing me. I'm still worried about C.J. Stroud when that comes back around again in the fall. Just like, can't we have something nice? Damn it!
There's that golf tournament.
Yeah, I don't care.
But
I don't care. Who's gonna win that? Not Tiger Woods. I know that. Anyway. So Astros get shut out in Game 1 by the Angels. Hunter Brown struck out 9, but didn't make it out of the 5th inning because he walked 4 guys and his pitch count got too high, Cam. And that's kind of been the problem with Hunter Brown, and really the problem with basically everybody in the Astros rotation, except for, we don't know what to expect from Imai so far because he hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball yet until tomorrow. But that's kind of like, Hunter Brown's going to be putting up a lot of zeros. He's going to be dominant and strike out a lot of batters. But the problem is, especially compounded by the fact that you have guys like Javier McCullers who are you're also expecting to sometimes get run out of games early. Like Hunter Brown, I was hoping to see that next step from him, right? Be a little more efficient with the pitch count. He got up to 102 pitches, didn't even go 5 innings, right? It was I think it was 4 2/3.
It was.
He's got to get to a point where 6 is the bottom line for him, right? Yeah. Where he's got to get to a point where you feel guaranteed you're getting 6, and half the time he's giving you 7. Whereas right now it's okay, the bottom line is usually 5, even though he didn't give you that on opening day, and you're hoping for sometimes 6. That's a big issue for me looking forward, because this team is going to have to live on the margins until somebody proves they're better than we think they are. So if Hunter Brown's not giving you that length with the questionable bullpen while Hader's out, that could be a problem even when he's in the
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You were going to need 6 innings out of him regardless, even if the bullpen, you had confidence with it. But now even more so with the lack of confidence in the bullpen, I want to say you got to get 7 out of him, but I know that's almost unrealistic.
Other than Brian Abreu, there's not a lot of righties in that bullpen right now that I'm confident in.
Yeah.
There are the other best names like Brian King, a lot of the other best guys in that bullpen right now, even without Hader, are lefties. So it feels like you don't have a shutdown right-handed relief pitcher to come in the game before it gets to Abreu.
I don't think you do either.
Yeah. And for some reason, look, we obviously spent a lot of the offseason talking about the outfield, talking about the replacement for Framber Valdez, talking about the infield surplus, although some people talked about it more than others. We'll get into that in a little while. But I don't think enough attention was paid to their lack of activity with the bullpen, especially with what happened with Hader.
Yeah, and that when is he supposed to 2 weeks before he can even live.
He's going to apparently face live pitching like mid-April. So I think
Okay.
we're looking at early to mid-May as his earliest possible return.
Oh,
It's going to be hard times in that bullpen.
yeah, man.
Like they
That's
got
not a happy laugh.
Like they got to get it. Like here's the problem, right? So even if they get good pitching outings, because I mean, even though Hunter Brown went short, I mean, he went 4 innings, gave up 1 run, struck out 9.
Who, Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh no, no runs.
Yeah, he had no.
No, he
no
gave
run.
up. He gave the home run to. Did he give up?
I thought it was still 0-0
Was
when
it
he
still
left
0-0?
the game.
Okay,
That was
my bad.
that was the 3-0
Okay,
game.
my
So
bad.
yeah,
My bad. I thought he'd given up the solo home run. Well, either way, if it's 4 2/3, 0 runs, 4 2/3, 1 run, my take is still the same. Like you would still call that like, well, he was dominant while he was in there. But even if he'd gone 6 innings, you got to bridge 7-8. Like I have no confidence in bridging 7-8 to get to Brian Abreu right now.
no, and I mean, there'd
as
be
you keep going through this lineup, you're going from Brown to guys you're less and less confident in that can get you that 6-7 innings, right?
yeah,
Especially once you get to Javier and Lance McCullers, and we'll see on Imai, but like he's obviously a wild card at this point. He hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball before, so like I'm seeing a real struggle ahead for the Astros to bridge those innings between when the starter goes out and trying to get it to Brian Abreu.
Yeah, because also the thing that is concerning is we're talking about guys that we just need y'all to go 5 innings. Like that's crazy that we basically have 3 pitchers in the starting rotation. If we're talking
they need
McCullers,
more.
Javier.
I know you can't really ask for that from Lance for sure.
Oh no, you need more.
You can't realistically ask that from Javier, although they're paying him as like a guy that should be able to get you 6. But like you need more.
You need more, but I feel like this is what you have with these guys. You have with Burrows, Javier, and McCullers. It seems like you have 3 of your starting pitchers that are capable of maybe giving you 5 innings, and that is a huge issue. Especially like you said, the gap between the bullpen, and then obviously the bullpen wouldn't even be a big of an issue except for your offense cannot score.
Yeah. No, they've scored how many runs in 2 games, Cam?
2.
Yeah, so they're on pace. They're on pace. If I'm doing the math correctly, to score 162 runs this year.
1 run a game. Terrific.
Is that enough? Is that enough?
It's enough to get you last place.
Yeah. It's definitely enough to do that, and obviously they'll score more than that. So, with the one like encouraging thing out of the bullpen, and I think he did give up a home run, was AJ Blueball. Like he looks like a guy who could be a future leverage, late inning leverage relief pitcher for the Astros, and also be a multi-inning guy as well, like a real weapon for him. Like I'm excited about Blueball's role in the bullpen.
He's a new peacock.
But the problem is, as the new peacock, as a guy that you might ask to go, 2 innings, like he's not going to be there in back-to-back nights for Javier and Lance.
No,
he's not. He's only going to be there probably 2 out of every 2 times through every trip through the rotation, like 2 out of 5. You would assume, especially if he's going the multi-inning role, right? Like which he did on opening day with the multiple sit-downs before he eventually got pulled. Like I like him out of the bullpen as that bridge to Abreu, but one, the starter's got to get him close enough to where he can actually hand the ball to Abreu, and 2, you can only probably use them 2 times out of every 5 through the trip. 2 times out of 5 for every trip through the rotation.
Yeah,
you have Okert as well.
Yeah, but
I mean, he had 3 strikeouts in the game last night.
Yeah, I guess I'm just talking about righties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the right-handed relief pitchers. Like you're right, because Okert and King, I do. Although if their seasons last year were career best, I wouldn't be surprised. But I still think they're good relief pitchers. It's just like the right-handed options coming out of the bullpen to get you to Abreu, assuming Blueball can't be the one to hand it to him, are fairly limited.
Yeah, it's a rough. I mean, can I point out an even more abysmal stat?
Sure.
It has nothing to do with pitching though.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
The Astros have struck out almost a third of their at bats.
Oof. Not ideal.
20 strikeouts and 65 at bats.
Yeah, it's not great. That's not great. All right. A little stock up, stock down on the Astros who return. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of stock down, but we'll see where the day takes us. 1 more hour to go on the bullpen. ESPN Radio 97.5, 97.9 HD2. betrayed, bamboozled, all the descriptive words to how I feel right now from those horrible, horrible actions taken by Michael Carroll to change our open without telling us.
Is it bad that
Taking my words
I'm
out
on
of
his side?
context. I was talking about hiding cashews under a bed, Michael.
Sure you were.
What's wrong or weird about that, right? Anyway, well,
I'm
Johnny,
on his side.
Okay, of course you would. You're on his side. Whose side are you on here, Cam?
Squeeze me.
Okay.
What's
All right. Well, Cam will join the show here in a minute. We'll continue to talk about the.
Welcome to the show, Cam
Welcome
Smith.
to the show, Cam Smith. It's going on. We're
Sorry,
still
I
on.
was,
We're
I was
still on
taking
till
extra
2.
batting practice.
You taking ex- No, you weren't. You liar. All right. So a little stock up, stock down on the Astros. We'll start with the positive. Johnny wants us to be more positive. He was in the break. He was like, "Man, why are you so down on the Astros? You're just real negative ring out there, Brian."
Well,
That really
Why do
hurt
I
my
sound like a
voice.
South Park character?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
that did Victor into Cartman.
Yeah.
That did Victor into Cartman. My bad. If you have a bag of cheesy poofs in there, full Cartman. Anyway, let's start with the positive. Yordan Alvarez homered yesterday. Should have had a home run on opening day if the roof was open, which, in my opinion, not a big deal, but should have been open. So a season coming off a season where he only had, I think, 6 home runs because he played like 40 games. Good start for Yordan Alvarez. Now, the batting average doesn't look great, but when he's made contact, it's gone a long, long way.
I'll take the contact.
So, encouraging there from Yordan Alvarez. Also, stock up. Obviously, Jeremy Pena missed opening day as the effects from that broken tip of his finger continued to linger, but was back in the lineups yesterday.
Ooh,
2
nice.
hits, a steal, and scored a run. So, stock up on Jeremy Pena. It looks like he's ready, willing, and able to follow up on what was last year a career best season for him.
He looks good, and he was leadoff, right?
Yeah,
I really
he was
like.
back in the leadoff.
I love him in the leadoff spot.
Same. All right, now I think that's all the stock ups we have.
Well, okay.
Cray had multiple hits yesterday, so I guess that's a little ray of sunshine.
In totality, I will say I can appreciate their more aggressive base running. They do have 3 steals already.
Yeah, Altuve also had a steal yesterday.
So that's
good point.
I mean that's a small.
So Altuve had a steal yesterday. Pena had a steal yesterday. Was there still an opening day? I forget.
Cam Smith had one.
Cam Smith had one. That's right. So, well, thank you for that, Cam Smith. So
You're welcome.
Yeah. I don't know if that's something that'll continue forward, but I guess that could be something that.
Well, if you're not getting on base, then no.
Yeah, I guess not. All right, so that's I think all the stock ups I have. Stock down. Mike Burrows. 5 earned runs, including giving up 2 bombs. Obviously, it's 1 start. No reason to jump off the ledge just yet, but. Mike Burrows, along with Imai, were two of the guys that I hoped, not that they could be Fromber, but could develop into a legit number 2 starting pitcher. And obviously, for the first effort, not so great against the Angels for Burrows.
No. No. I mean, 9 hits, 5 runs. I mean, I like the strikeout numbers. Like, I like the strikeout numbers.
Yeah, Hunter Brown also had 9 strikeouts and 4 2/3.
Yeah,
That looked great.
For the team in total, the pitchers have 25 strikeouts, which is amazing over 2 games. But they also have given up 12 walks. So
yeah,
it's just-
and Hunter getting back to Hunter Brown, 4 walks, and it didn't even get through the 5th inning. So certainly something to watch there. We mentioned the bullpen. That is a stock down as well. Christian Walker, who had a horrible spring, like a Jose Abreu level horrible spring, which spring results mostly mean nothing. But when you then continue that into the season by starting the year 1 for 6, I think we have to say stock down on Christian Walker.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
How long's your leash with him? How long are you giving him to figure things out?
The problem with that one is
are you giving him like Abreu got to like what mid-May before they shipped him off to Miami and eventually cut him?
I mean, I think you're going to have to get mid-May too, because if Paredes isn't hitting either, then there's no sense of this whole argument of putting Paredes at first base and then just taking Christian Walker out, because if Paredes is not hitting,
I just have more faith that he'll figure it out.
Than Walker?
Yeah.
Me too for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think
more faith, I should say. Way more faith. Christian, the second half. See, this is tricky though, because we just did the same thing with Jose Abreu a couple years ago. Because that tail end of his first season, like when he came back from that short IL stint in August of that year, the rest of his regular season, and then into the playoffs against I think against Minnesota and then against Texas, like he was really good.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu that was, and so I thought, okay, well, he was getting over something. He got healthy, and he's Jose Abreu again. And then we know what happened the next season. And I talked myself into that as well. Christian Walker's like, oh well, slow start. He had the oblique injury last year in spring. Slow start. Once he got healthy, because his second half was good. All right, maybe that's the real Christian Walker. Not that it was Arizona level Christian Walker, but maybe we were getting 90% of max Christian Walker, but so far not great.
There's just something about the Astros and signing these
Also,
veteran.
Don't forget trading for Trey Mancini, and how now he did kind of collapse onto a ball in the World Series that prevented a big run. But like offensively, Trey Mancini was a disaster.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is with the first baseman.
They cannot figure out first baseman after Yuli Gurriel. All right, stock down. We got to get into this. Chandler Rome's credibility. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but Chandler Rome, for some reason, has decided to push this narrative that they have an infield surplus problem that's so problematic that it can't be fixed, and they must trade players away, otherwise it's going to ruin the ball club. So what this all seemed to come to earth from, or come to light from, was this quote we're about to hear from Joe Espada back on February 4th. It was just before the Astros headed out for pitchers and catchers reporting, talking about the playing time and where it would be versus left field versus DH for Yordan Alvarez. And this quote now from Joe Espada.
Yordan, I would like to give him most of his at-bats as a DH, and I will do everything in my power to keep him in that DH spot. He will get some opportunities in left field to keep that DH spot open for other players.
So right there in that clip, Espada does say like he'd like to get most of Yordan's at-bats at DH, but he says in the clip, I mean, you heard it from the man himself, that Yordan will play left field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking crazy pills. He says Yordan will play left field. For some reason, Chandler Rome only reported the first part of that clip and has made it his mission to say because Yordan can't play left field, that the Astros have a infield surplus problem that can't be solved, and they must move somebody because there's not enough playing time for everybody. So for some reason, even Joe Espada said in the clip, Yordan will play left field. That has been the stance from Chandler Rome, including this quote from March 5th. March 5th, he did a mailbag article, right? And he got this question from Wilbur. The question being, wouldn't the easy answer for the Astros be just to put Alvarez in left field and designate Paredes as the full-time DH? From Wilbur. The response for Chandler Rome would be, it would be Wilbur, but Espada has told you, me, and everyone else who will listen that that isn't the team's plan. Espada writes the lineups. Perhaps people will start to believe him soon. Which, again, flies in the face of what that first clip we heard. Like
he literally said.
Espada said. Now, he didn't say, 80 games and left, the rest in DH, or he didn't break it down like the exact numbers, but he said Yordan Alvarez is going to play some left field. He played 55 games, I think, in left field 2 years ago. So this is coming out of nowhere. So despite all that, Espada tries to clear it up in this clip you're about to hear right now, seemingly removing all doubt that Yordan will play left field.
Yordan is going to play left field. When he's in left field, we are able to have some other guys stay in the lineup, use the DH spot to get some of those guys some at-bats and keep everyone healthy and fresh. But Yordan also loves to play left field. And when he plays left field, the numbers show that he is a very productive player offensively because he's not only thinking about his at-bats, he can go out to the outfield and clear his mind and help the team, in a different ways. And Yordan enjoys playing left field. So I've always keep that in mind when it comes to how often Yordan is going to play left field.
Okay, that seems pretty definitive,
so
right?
So is Yordan going to play left field?
Joe Espada, now, those aren't the only clips. There's more that I could pull, but we would run out of time. Seems pretty definitive that Joe Espada has said Yordan's going to play left field. That quote was from March 9th. March 16th, Chandler Rome writes, when Pena returns, the Astros again will again confront the conundrum of how to get Paredes regular playing time. Joe Espada has said, Joe Espada has gotten Paredes work at second base during spring training. He's obviously gotten work at first base. We know he could play third. They're willing to play Yordan in left field. They've made it, they're playing very easy to see and very clear of how they're going to divide up all this playing time. Paredes will get some play at third when Correa needs the day off. He'll get play at first when Walker needs a day off. He may get some playing time at second base, which he's played at limited amount of time in the major leagues when Altuve needs the day off. And of course, he'll be in at DH if Jordan is in left field. So it seems pretty easy. And then for some reason, Chandler Rome hears those quotes, doesn't change his mindset on this, and continues to drive this narrative. So he has a quote from Thursday. Paredes now has no obvious path to regular playing time unless manager Joe Espada changes his, quote, hard line stance on limiting Yordan Alvarez to everyday designated hitter duties.
Oh my God.
Look, I'm trying to understand how, because there's no way Chandler Rome, who is a good reporter for everything but this, hasn't heard these quotes from Espada. Because I know the first quote, he was standing right next to Espada. So I know he heard it, right? There's no way he didn't hear this. So I'm trying to figure out what the motivation is here to continually selectively report what the plan is for Yordan Alvarez and how they'll be able to get playing time for both him and Paredes.
I think he's reporting what he wants the plan to be.
I think he's reporting something that drives fear and drives clicks.
Well, it's working.
I guess we're playing it. So I don't know. Let's play just the first one from Rome. So we've heard a couple of quotes. Here's one also more recently from Chandler Rome. Again, we played all the evidence in the world that Joe Espada is going to play Yordan Alvarez in left field. Yet Chandler Rome still says this.
The Astros are moving one of their infielders. Like, this is barring something just completely unforeseen, barring things just completely falling apart within the next few days. The Astros are going to move one of these infielders and correct their infield surplus.
They don't have an infield surplus problem. They can get all their guys playing time. And
it'd be a problem if these guys were all bad, but they're all relatively
except for Walker.
Good. And I mean, except for Walker. But it's just like I would rather have one extra infielder than
because injuries happen. And even if injuries, which it already did with Pena, but even if injuries don't happen, you could still find a way. Like these guys, like Correa could play multiple positions. Obviously Paredes could play multiple positions. There are ways to, move guys around in the lineup, move guys around the field to get all these guys playing time. In the final little, just flourish there to give the little chef's kiss on this victory over Chandler Rome's nonsense. Where did Yordan Alvarez play yesterday? Left field. He played in left field.
What did he do?
Chandler Rome spent 2 months telling us Yordan Alvarez would never play in left because Joe Espada says so, even though we know that's true. Not true. We heard the quotes from Joe Espada himself. And despite all that, the 2-month fear campaign from Chandler Rome, Yordan Alvarez in game 2 was in left field.
And hit a homer.
And hit a home run. How many games of the first 2, Cam, did Paredes not play?
0.
Yeah. So will Yordan play left field? He did in game 2. Will Paredes not be able to find playing time because of this infield surplus nonsense?
Obviously not.
No.
It is weird that he's dying on this hill.
Yeah. On this Taos Hill. He missed the
Taos Hill. I did.
It was right there. It's right there, Johnny. It's right there. I'm a little disappointed.
It's been gone for so long.
Yeah, I know. It's just, what do you make of this, Johnny? Because before this last 2 months, I thought Chandler Rome did, from everything I can remember, an excellent job as a, unbiased, member of the media reporting on the Astros. But for some reason, he's, like you said, he's decided to die on this hill and try to paint a picture of this horrible infield surplus problem that can't be fixed, that would cause Paredes not to play and Yordan, because Yordan won't play left. And yet here we are 2 games into the season and he's been proven wrong already.
Yeah, like you said, if you stop that first clip halfway through, it makes sense. But it's like he's not listening to the rest of it. I think it's a clickbaity thing.
He's chosen not to listen.
Yeah, it's a choosing. I think it's a clickbaity thing. And to be fair, honestly, I would prefer Yordan not play left field ever, just because of the injury issues. I'd rather just keep his bat in the lineup all the time. And then you do kind of have some, but that's not what the Astros are clearly saying or doing. Yeah. So,
they've
and
said
that's
with
the
their
point.
actions,
Yeah.
they've said with their words. I honestly don't, other than what we've said, intentionally clickbaiting, rage baiting, fear mongering. Outside of that, I don't know how Chandler Rome could have come to this conclusion. right?
I don't
Like,
either.
there's all the evidence in the world right in front of him from what Joe Espada said, inches away from where Chandler Rome is standing. It's not like Chandler Rome is not not next to Joe Espada for some of these quotes. Now, one of those quotes was from an interview with the podcast. Chandler Rome wasn't there in person for that one, but the first one he was sitting right next to Joe Espada.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's literally choosing to not believe the head coach.
Yeah. It's just weird. I'm not even mad at it because I get the game. Like we see with the talking heads on ESPN and FS1 all the time, right? There's a game to this and trying to farm engagement, trying to clickbait. I get the game, and I don't knock him for the game. I'm just trying to figure out why he's fighting everything. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the motivation, I guess, or at least trying to figure out why he won't just kind of, in a way, kind of give us the wink and nod that he knows what he's doing. Like he's like, there's more quotes we didn't have time for, or he's just talking down to everyone. Like, finally, you'll see what I'm trying to say about this. I don't know. I don't want to ramble on.
He's
Chandler
so
Rome.
far
Let's
into
move
his
on.
narrative that he can't backtrack.
Yeah, I think
now.
it's take lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's backed into.
But
been
nobody's
backed into
gonna
a corner.
lose respect for him if he says, "Hey, I was wrong in this."
Yeah, if for some reason maybe he doesn't. He takes that first quote from Espada we played. He takes it the wrong way, and then Espada from that March 9th clip where he clearly says the first words out of his mouth are Jordan will play left. If Chandler Rome at that point said, "Hey, misheard earlier," maybe misinterpreted earlier, Joe Espada cleared it up, Jordan's going to play left, no one would have thought less.
Nope.
But for some reason, March 9th, guys, Joe Espada says Jordan will play left. He plays left the second game of the season, and for some reason, Chandler Rome still won't back down. Anyway, let's stop that bashing on Chandler Rome for now, because I could go on forever, but I don't know how interesting it would be to continue to beat a dead horse. Instead, let's hear one of the craziest headlines in sports sort of news stories from Shaq. You guys seen this thing with Shaq and Sabrina Carpenter?
I think
We'll
read
talk
something
about that
this.
next on the Bullpen
Oh,
returns.
Shaq.
ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
Welcome back into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5, 97.9 HD2. If you want to join in the conversation, any thoughts you have on the Astros, or if you have any thoughts on this wild Shaq story we're about to discuss, give us a call or a text on the HRMP listener line, 713-780-3776. So I saw some support of me earlier from early in the show. We were talking about that wreck I got into before the show started. Some support from 6699. That became a hit and run. So I think that is a support in my direction of what I decided to do there. From the next texter, 0838. F that guy. Again, I think that's in the favor of me here. Then next text on the line, 8446. Don't give your plan out, dude. That guy could literally be listening to the show right now. LOL. I think that was Johnny's point. So yeah, you know what? 8446. Good point. My bad. I shouldn't have mentioned that I knew where he lived. Although he gave me his license, I guess he'd have to assume that. From 0838. Absolutely call the cops on that guy. And then one last text in here, also from 0838. What's wrong with males these days? I guess this is a lady listener. I was asked how old this guy was. I feel like it's a young guy thing. He was young. We're all in. Well, you and Johnny, you and Cam, Johnny, you're both in your 30s.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think this guy was probably 25-ish, if I had to guess. I don't know if we as males, as the listener points out, are more prone to this than not. But yeah, I don't think a dude my age or older pulls this move.
No, because like to
or especially tells them, "I was going to the gym. I can't be bothered right now. I'm going to the gym, bro."
Yeah, to the point of like my story,
You
another
like that,
young guy. But anytime, like I've been in very few like accidents since I started like driving. Maybe like 3 or 4, which crazy enough, literally none of them
have been women.
None of them have been my fault.
Oh, okay.
But the only one,
I can hear Johnny cackling through the door.
It's crazy, man. That's why my insurance is still like at a great level. But
I don't think that's what he was laughing at.
Oh. But the only time where I've had issues has been when it's been a young person. Whenever it's been somebody that's been like close to my age or older, it's the same thing. Get out, exchange information, move on. It's only when it's like somebody who's just like young and entitled that it becomes an issue.
That was wild.
Also, I think we're missing one question too.
Oh,
were they in a nice vehicle at least? Was it like a nice car?
No.
So
It wasn't like a piece of crap or anything, a POS, but it wasn't what I would call nice. I would say it's like I think it was like a Nissan or something like that from maybe 5-10 years ago. It's kind of that range.
I would have expected with that kind of attitude for it to at least be a nice.
No,
car.
It wasn't like it was a BMW or anything like that. All right, we got to move on because we got this Shaq story to talk about. So I'm just going to say, all right, be ready, Johnny. I'm just going to say the headline. Shut up and then let Shaq talk about it here. Headline: Shaq denies sending wild farts and cologne bottle viral DMs to Sabrina Carpenter.
So I want you to tell me if it's me or if it's not me.
Is this an AI video?
No, it's not a video.
Oh. AI picture?
All right, read that.
Shaq exposed for shooting shot at Sabrina Carpenter. Bro.
All right, hold on.
Hey, yo, bro.
Hold on. Shaq, damn, baby. I would keep your farts in a cologne bottle and spray it on me every day.
That's crazy.
Just jokes. I'm Shaq's. What's your name, baby?
I'm Shaq's.
And Sabrina says, I know who you are. You're way too famous to be sending me messages like that. Shaq, I can't be horny and want some of that snow bunny kidding for myself. You're being rude for no reason. You can't handle Big Diesel anyway. My meat would have you in the hospital. Can we find out? Is that me or is that Cap? Yeah.
I definitely do not believe that is
Thank you. Yeah, that went viral. Hey, look, you said that.
And it has your picture photoshopped and everything.
Supposedly you DMing her?
Yes.
Social media is a dangerous game. It is a dangerous game.
No, it's wild because a computer could do anything. They can make computers.
First of all, ladies, the Diesel got way more game than that.
Yeah, I was saying the first line was crazy. If that's how you get it coming through people's DM, it's like, yo, you busting through the DM like that, Shaq?
Damn, baby, I'll keep your farts in the cologne bottle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Spray it.
That's the illest line I ever heard in my life.
All right, Cam, Johnny, you're both still single men. I've been out of the dating game for a while. You ever shot your shot with a lady in a similar way to fake Shaq shot a shot?
Are you asking me if I've slid into a DM? Yes. Have
okay.
I?
Have you slid into the DM and then mentioned bottled farts.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I don't think smells are a part of that for me.
I do like in that, like, I think what's get lost in there is that Sabrina Carpenter, like, sniffed it out. Oh, pun unintended.
Nice.
There. She sniffed it out right away by saying, like, you're way too famous to be doing this. Like, I think she knew right away that it wasn't the real Shaq. I think what should also have given away is when Shaq's reading the quote that's supposedly from him, is that he refers to himself as Shax.
Yeah.
There at one point he refers to himself
no Snow Bunny?
as Shax. Yeah, Snow Bunny. The line of "You can't handle Big Diesel," I think had us all in tears, and I don't even know if we could repeat again what he said after that. It was a little borderline, but yeah, I don't think that was Shaq, but that is
It's hilarious.
wild story.
But it's true to their point. Social media is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Anybody can get got.
Yeah,
anybody can get got. It's crazy.
Yeah, so a couple more quick ones. We don't have time for a whole lot
But
more.
I do respect I mean, I'm not saying that I would, well, obviously, I would never open up a conversation with
talking about bottled farts.
But at the same time, sometimes you do have to hit them with a pretty interesting, crazy, like, opening line.
Do you
to
have
get
any
their
lines
attention.
that you can share with the class?
Yeah.
Nah.
You know what, Cam? Homework assignment for you.
You have to see who you're messaging and then based
hold
on
on. Homework assignment for you. We have a show next week.
Okay.
I need a Mount Rushmore +1 of your craziest opening lines.
That I have said?
Yeah,
or that I
of
would
course.
say? Oh, God.
Yeah, no. Oh, you feel like you can share that with the class? Is it FCC friendly?
Yeah, I think I can.
All right. Okay.
All right, come ready to learn next weekend.
Yeah, come ready to see how Cam picks up the ladies.
Well, obviously, it's not working because your boy's still single.
Okay. Well, you said you haven't tried the fart in a bottle approach.
Dear God.
Maybe try it. You don't know it doesn't work.
We're calling it the Shaq approach,
Yeah,
right?
the Shaq approach. Yeah. You don't know it doesn't work.
Yeah, you never know if the person you're
Another
messaging is
homework
like a
assignment.
freak.
Another
so.
homework assignment. Slide into the M's. Try the bottle fart approach. Report back. Did it work?
All right. Take a survey. Great.
Hey, this is for science, Cam.
True.
This is for science, all right?
Yeah, I'll make my
We're
students
just
make a
trying-
bar graph out of it
exactly.
too. Yeah.
You don't know if it doesn't work until you try, Cam.
True.
All she can say is no. All she can say is no.
There's a lot more that she could say, but
it starts with no. It starts with no. Maybe there's a 4-letter word in front of no. I don't know.
Starts with a no or a block.
Yeah, or it probably starts with block. That's probably where it starts with. A couple more quick headlines before we get out. Espresso machine from Italy's WBC dugout fetches $16K at auction, Cam. $16K. And I don't know if you saw this espresso machine that they had, but this is not like it's some. I don't know if any espresso machine costs $16,000, but this is not like some high-end machine that would have cost thousands, that had like a lot of unique features and was, something that would be all that desirable. This was, by its own description, a piece of equipment. It's a cheap plastic one-button espresso machine, the likes of which you would find in an office break room. And it just got sold because it was, I guess, in the Italy dugout.
Dear God, it's like one of those little Keurig machines where you just put it in
a
pod
one-button
and bloop,
espresso machine.
like the one we have here.
Yeah, and it sold for $16K just because Vinny Pasquantino got a coffee from it.
Oh my God! Could have you at least signed it?
I hope they do. That'd be awesome. It does tell you how dang popular this World Baseball Classic was.
Guess so.
And like,
yeah, I guess so.
I could see,
especially in Italy. I don't. It doesn't say who bought it. It does say the proceeds went to a good cause, to the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center. So
love that.
So in the end, love it, but it's just like crazy that someone would spend $16K for the espresso machine. That's a crappy espresso machine by all reports. So
what you do is you buy it and you just use it, every 3 years.
You just take a picture of it, really.
When the World Baseball Classic comes
you
back,
only use it for 2 weeks out of every 3 years.
There you go.
That's probably the max amount of times you can let it run, because the rest of the 3-year period is going to be in repairs because of how crappy it is. One more quick headline. We don't have time to play the audio, so don't worry about it, Johnny. But Isaiah Thomas had a wild take, Cam. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, I did.
He said, Kevin Durant, if you replace Michael Jordan on those Bulls teams that won 6 titles with Kevin Durant, the Bulls would still win 6 titles. Agree? Disagree?
I would like to know where he's getting his Mother Earth from.
I think it's his hatred of Michael Jordan speaking. Like, he's famously, I don't know what he's mad at Michael Jordan for.
Oh, sorry, wrong Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, you were thinking the younger Isaiah
one.
Oh,
yeah.
no. This is.
But still, regardless of.
No, this is the
Isaiah
Isaiah
who says
Thomas.
it.
This is the Isaiah Thomas that got left off the Dream Team is still holding a grudge against Michael Jordan 34 years later about it, and has said he will continue to bash Jordan until Jordan apologizes. Spoiler alert, Jordan ain't never
My
apologizing.
God, how old are we?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think they're near 60,
Waiting
right?
30 years for an apology,
Yeah.
bro. You're never going to get it.
So apparently his way of getting back at Jordan is to say that Kevin Durant could have won 6 titles with those same Bulls teams.
Yeah, that's...
And then you ask Jordan for his reaction. He goes, "What are you talking about? I'm not paying any attention to that guy
No,
at
he
all."
does not care what Isaiah Thomas says. Well, maybe if they were still playing, he would. He liked to get chips on his shoulders.
Isaiah
over nothing.
Thomas needs to buy a NASCAR team and compete with Michael Jordan on that front.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be actually
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I could get down with that. That'd be fun. See them like both near the track, yelling at each other, talking trash as the cars are going around. I like to take this question way too seriously for just a brief moment. I think Durant could win 2 of those titles, maybe 3. But I don't think he beats the Suns, and I don't think he beats the Jazz.
He's not winning 6.
Yeah, like I think he can still beat
No.
the Lakers, because that first title against the Lakers, Magic was, it was a little bit over the hill at that point. I think he could beat the why am I forgetting the Blazers, Clyde Drexler's Blazers.
There
I
it
think
is.
I think they could beat that Blazers team in the finals, and then I maybe give them the Sonics. Although I don't know, the Sonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp are pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think they beat the Suns with Barkley when he in his MVP year, and I don't think they beat Malone and Stockton.
No. So maybe 3 at the most.
2, I think 2 minimum. Durant still wins. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. All right.
6? Ha!
Are you with that, Johnny? Like maybe 2 or 3, or are we crazy here?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
we've never seen Kevin Durant really. I mean, by himself without the Warriors.
Yeah, it's true. Like he
do
hasn't
it,
won
so,
a
I mean,
title. Like, look, I'm not saying the Bulls didn't have good complementary players. They had Rodman in the second three-peat.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had Pippen, Kukoc in the second three-peat. Like he had some really good players, but
that killer
I don't
instinct
know, man.
that Michael Jordan had is the
Durant-
real reason.
yeah, I don't think
And-
Durant's
and-
ever been accused
yeah.
of having that same killer instinct. That's a good point. All right, we got to get out. Mount Rushmore +1 when we return to ESPN Radio 97.5. Welcome in, Houston, to the best part of your weekend. Welcome into Mount Rushmore Plus One, the game-changing, award-winning segment that's forever changed the landscape of sports radio in Houston, in Texas, in the United States of America, nay, worldwide. And we'll get Cam, John, myself, Joe George, Sean Mapes, Andrew Carlson, RJ Saunders, Josh Chavans, AJ Russ, many others into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, and far less than the 27 years it took those bums, John and Lance, to get there.
You said bums kind of loud today. Yeah,
put a little stank on it. Yeah. I didn't see Lance today. So
I was going to say, that's why.
Yeah, I felt a little more. No, I'm not going to hide behind that. I say it with a little more bravado when Lance isn't 3 doors down. Shout out to the band from the 90s. But Mount Rushmore Plus One time, Johnny is going to lead us off this week. Johnny, what is your Mount Rushmore Plus One?
I almost missed your 3 doors down reference there. That was good.
I'm glad I explained the joke for you.
Yeah.
The jokes are always better. People say that. Jokes are always better when you explain them.
I'm sure they say that, yes.
Someone does.
My Mount Rushmore Plus One was meant for last week, but we just didn't have enough time, so I didn't get to do it. So it's getting pushed to this week. We don't have a lot of universal badasses that we consider a badass. I think Chuck Norris was one of those.
Yeah,
that we all considered a universal badass.
Sure.
So, in honor of Chuck Norris passing away last week, at this point, I did just look some stuff up here, and these were my top 5 of the ones I found. But just athletes being absolute badasses.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's in game or in different situations. Number 5, I went with Ronnie Lott. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there are going to remember this story. But in 1986, he was faced with a decision.
Yep.
He could either take the season off and let his pinky heal, or the other option, which is what he chose, chop that thing off and play the season.
Yeah.
So that's pretty badass.
That's one of the most hardo stories that I've ever heard in sports.
It is. It's only the tip, so I guess it's not like the end of the world.
Pause.
That's what.
Pause.
But it makes the list because I don't think I would sacrifice a finger for the season.
No. I love my teammates, but if my choice is do the show next week or or keep my pinky, I'm going to keep my pinky.
Was it the whole pinky though?
No, just part of
it.
What was it again, John?
It said just the tip.
Just the tip. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, John. Thank you for playing along with that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Number 4, I went with, I don't know if y'all remember this, in 2019, Cincinnati Reds reliever Amir Garrett.
I know the name.
He charged off the mound by himself, tried to fight the entire Pittsburgh Pirates dugout.
I remember
by
this
himself.
one.
Right.
He
tried to go 1-on-26.
Crazy. Yeah. If
That's
you
a big
watch
dude
it
too.
Yeah, if you watch it, he sprints by himself into what had to have been 6 or 7 of them already throwing his hands. Oh, Brian.
You walked right into
I
that.
thought the 6'7" was dead. And
no, people my age have killed it. So that's why I'm just making sure I do it a few more times to make sure it's dead.
Well, if people
if you
your
want to
age
trend it in, just
have
let
killed
white
it.
42-year-olds
Actually,
do
the trend is ending.
ends.
My kids, I haven't heard any of them really
Good.
say it in a while.
We killed it.
I'm very happy
well
with that.
done, millennials. We killed it.
Thank you. Yes, because my mother did it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "We've
My
got a
mother.
problem."
Definitely dead.
Yeah, it's dying.
over.
Number 3, I'm not going to even try to pronounce her last name. Well, I'm going to try it once just out of respect. Homefist, I think. I don't know. Daniela.
I can't be it, Johnny.
Daniela Holmqvist. It's HOLMQVIST.
Homevist.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard, yeah. And so is she, because this is a crazy story. Number 3 here. During the Women's Australian Open in 2013, she was in a bunker and she was bit by a redback spider, which they say is more dangerous than black widows. She took the golf tee out and punctured the bite wound and then drained the poison from her leg and then finished the rest of the round.
Wait. I mean, not to get too graphic here, but how did she drain it?
She punctured it with the sharp end of the tee.
Well, I've heard people that you can suck out the venom, but if it's on your leg, you wouldn't be able to reach it. She just squeezed it out.
Squeezed.
Wow.
Yeah, she says a bunch of clear liquid that came out. But they say it shuts down your motor system and all kinds of other stuff. So she, I guess, managed to get it all out and finished the round.
That's incredible.
After that, that is in.
That might be the hardest one so
Yeah,
far.
sorry, Ronnie Lott, you've been surpassed.
Because I mean that could have been life or death. I mean, could you imagine her falling out on like the 17th hole?
We're giving
or
Ronnie Lott props for Pinky. This chick could have died. Anyway, what's left, Johnny?
Yeah, number 2. This everybody knows this one. Terrell Owens playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With a fractured fibula and
he was good at
ankle
the Super
ligaments.
Bowl too.
Catching 9 passes. Yeah. Absolutely. And number 1, I'd never heard of this guy, but after reading this, I was blown away. Patrice Bergeron played in the
also never heard of him.
2013 Stanley Cup Finals with the Bruins.
Oh, okay.
Played through, this is in this series. These injuries all happened during the series. Played through a broken rib, torn rib cartilage, a separated shoulder, and a punctured lung.
Are these all from one hit?
They're
or are these
over
all
several games. So in Game 4, the injury started. In Game 5, they got worse. In Game 6, the broken rib punctured the lung and sent him to the hospital after the game, not during the game.
Finished
after
the game with a punctured
He was
lung?
out there huffing and puffing with a punctured lung in the Stanley Cup Finals. Respect. That's badass. And that's my Chuck Norris.
It makes
list.
sense that it was a hockey player.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, those dudes are psycho.
Yeah. Like if you were gonna give me a guess, if you just said that and guess what sport he plays, it's hockey. It's definitely hockey. Those guys, like you said, Cam, are psychopaths. All right. So I have a follow-up here, a part 2, if you will, for my Mount Rushmore +1. It is other roles for John Barenthal. John Barenthal is one of my favorite actors just because he's kind of the same guy in every movie. You know him from Punisher. He was in The Walking Dead. You know who I'm talking about, right?
He's in the TV. He
was in His and Hers.
Made his quick appearance in The Bear.
Yes, yes, as Michael, the brother of the main character.
He's actually in a really good mini-series crime show that's 6 episodes long.
You're talking about His and Hers.
Is that what it is? His and Hers? Okay, yeah. Sorry.
It is really good. I
couldn't think of the name, but that one.
Check it out on Netflix. It is really good. But because he plays kind of the same character in every movie, it's funny to put him in roles where he does not fit. Because you kind of have to write the role for John Barenthal. It can't be we have this guy who wants to put, we'll just put John Barenthal. It's like, no, we're writing a role for John Barenthal. So just a quick rundown of the first list that I put John Barenthal in. And basically this is replacing the main actor from the movie and replacing him with John Barenthal. Conclave, replacing Ray Fiennes as the head. That was the movie about the Catholic Church and finding a new pope. And Ray Fiennes was the head guy in charge of finding a new pope. Anyway, just put John Barenthal there.
Finding a new pope. That's
exactly.
Hilarious.
Oppenheimer. He's playing Robert J. Oppenheimer. Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey's role. Yeah. The Nutty Professor.
Oh my God.
The Nutty Professor. And then portraying our 16th president in the movie Lincoln. That was my first Mount Rushmore +1.
What a badass Lincoln.
I know.
Good Lord.
4 7 years ago.
Murder in
you
the
can
South.
get these hands. Anyway, so other roles for John Barenthal, now a part 2. Now I went with more recent movies that came out within the last year that amongst the hundreds and hundreds of movies I've seen over the last couple of years. First one, playing Russell Crowe's character as a former Nazi officer in Nuremberg. Now, Nuremberg is all about the trial that the Nazis that got put in, but just having, because Russell Crowe does actually pull off the role pretty well, playing the German, defending his actions and whatnot. I just imagine trying to see John Barenthal with his swagger being interrogated in the courtroom in a very serious, because that whole scene when they get to the courtroom is very sad and somber, but having John Barenthal be John Barenthal in that scene.
I can see his his looks towards the judge.
You can all see the John. Yes, exactly. The John Barenthal face would be so good in that scene. Next one, very recent, is actually up for Best Picture, I believe. Marty Supreme.
Still
no
have
more
to see
Timothy Chalamet, but John Barenthal is your ping pong ace.
Wow. Okay.
As a ping pong ace. Okay.
The movie that won Michael B. Jordan best actor, Sinners. John Barenthal's both roles. He's both brothers.
Two Johns.
You get 2 John Barenthals with this. One's a vampire. Spoiler alert. Sorry. And one's trying to not die from
John and
vampires.
James.
Yeah. So there we go. 28 years later, Bone Temple. Again, Ray Fiennes. I think I want to replace every movie Ray Fiennes is in.
I didn't know if you were going to go Ray Fiennes or the
Jimmy?
naked, zombie,
Oh,
the massive
no,
man.
'cause
That's
he
the one
doesn't have
that's.
any, he doesn't have any lines. It's like,
It's true.
I
Well,
would
he
go.
grunts.
Ray Fiennes' character, who's a former doctor, and like he's trying to help the lost souls go into the next realm, because he played a very kind, understanding, like sympathetic character that I did want to replace with John Barenthal.
Oh, you said Bone Temple. That's the newest
the
one.
most recent one.
I still haven't seen that one. I only saw
the
28
naked
years
zombies
later.
in that one also. Just spoiler alert. So
okay, yeah, I need to see that.
but Ray Fiennes, which is funny because not a spoiler because you see them both in the first movie. But a big part of that movie is the relationship that forms between said naked zombie that you mentioned and Ray Fiennes' character, who's a former doctor. So you'd have John Barenthal interacting with this big naked zombie quite a bit. And last one, a movie that just came out. I saw it not that long ago. Just actually, I think on Tuesday I saw Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling out, John Barenthal in. John Barenthal in space trying to save the world and having to talk back and forth with a rock alien. Fantastic, no notes. Let's make this movie.
Imagine John Barenthal being in like Brokeback Mountain or something.
Yeah. Really, I could do 20 of these. Just
well,
put
you were
John
on a roll
Barenthal in
there with
everything.
the Ray Fiennes. For a second, I thought you were going to put him in that one, The Menu, where he's the chef.
Oh yeah,
that would be good. Yeah, that would be. I'd watch it
because that would be John taking out revenge.
If you want to simplify things, find every Ray Fiennes movie, replace Ray Fiennes with John Barenthal. Boom, instant masterpiece.
Love it.
All right, Cam, what you got?
So mine is in honor of me finally watching Happy Gilmore 2 last night.
Man, that took you 8 months?
I started it, got like 30 minutes into it, and then me being the person I am when it comes to movies and shows, I paused it and said I was going to go back, and
you just never did.
Well, I did. Just took 8 months.
It took 8 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I chose to do, if they were to make a sports movie, what actors that already played a sports figure in a movie, the ones I'd want to see all together in a movie, if that makes sense. Let me run down this.
I think it make more sense. Okay, make more sense once you run down the list.
In this movie, this sports movie, I would like to see Jack Black from Nacho Libre.
Okay. So this is okay. So these are actors who played a specific role, all forming together to make one movie.
Yeah. So their specific role into one movie.
Okay. So Jack Black is Nacho Libre. What role is he playing?
I didn't get that far. I haven't really written the full script yet. I'm just kind of perusing for actors.
Was that a bad question, John? I thought he said that. He had a role for him.
I don't think it's a bad question, but I think we're gonna put everything together here.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we can come up with the name
we'll
of the
find
roles.
a role.
Yeah.
The adventure is the journey itself.
But I like where we started.
Yeah,
That's a good character.
We were started strong with Nacho Libre, underrated movie.
Yeah, it is.
Continue.
The next one, and I could have picked him for different ones because Will Ferrell's played a few, but I feel like semi-pro Jackie when he played Jackie Moon.
Ooh, see, I thought he would have gone to
Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
I was teetering with that one, but I feel like maybe in the movie that we're casting, he could play kind of like that owner or like that crazy general manager or whatever.
Okay.
All right.
I know it's not a movie, but I had to put him on this list because he's a national treasure. Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
He was in the league and he did play himself. So technically,
he was also with oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name now. He was in that he was in that show on Netflix.
Bear Grylls.
No, it was a show. Oh my God, why am I forgetting this guy's name? He was recently in another movie I saw. He was the voice of Lego Batman.
Was he really?
He was also in Arrested Development. This actor I'm trying to think of. Never mind. Move on. I'll find it later.
So this character right here could definitely play kind of like the villain if we want to do that route. Ben Stiller in Dodgeball.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Very over the top, evil. So he'd have to be a villain in this.
Ben Stiller would be the villain.
Yeah, he'd have to be a villain.
Just like he kind of was in Happy Gilmore 2 when he played Hal and he was the terrible alcoholic counselor. Last one, and this guy is obviously going to play what he plays in every movie, just like the goofy, crazy, go after whatever. Andy Samberg in Hot Rod.
Oh, good call. Yeah, that's another underrated movie.
Andy Samberg. I love Hot Rod is hilarious.
Hot Rod is great. Have you seen Pop Star Never Stop Stopping?
I think it's another one that I started. And,
Okay, yeah,
never
go back and
finished.
watch that. Andy Samberg had some underrated movie roles before he went into TV with
Well, and
Brooklyn
wasn't he
Nine-Nine.
in that baseball movie where he was they were portraying
it was,
Mark
it was
McGwire?
a short. Yeah, it was
Oh, short?
It was him and one of the other dudes from Lonely Island, the
The
group
Lonely
that was
Island
on
Boys?
SNL.
Yeah.
On SNL. But they played it was the Bash Brothers.
The Bash
It was
Brothers,
like
yeah.
a 35, 40 minute, like not short, but like shorter than a movie. It was like different skits about like the Bash Brothers. It was really
yeah.
fun.
So
And that was on Netflix. It's worth checking out.
So then, all these 5 characters then come together, and the plot is they're all inside of a truck, and they rear-end a 40-year-old guy next to Minute Maid Park on 59 and give him
If
attitude.
Andy Samberg as Hot Rod popped out of the car, I would not be calling the cops.
Yeah, you know what? It could be like they're going on like a post kind of like retirement tour. They're going to some sort of like Comic-Con like event together or whatever, and it just turns into just like some crazy like road trip. Yeah.
Yeah. So that show I was trying to think of, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's called Murderville. Will Arnett is the actor.
Oh,
I'm
Will
trying to
Arnett,
think.
okay,
Yeah, he's the lead in that. But the plot of that show is he's a detective who's having to solve a case every episode. It's a comedy. It's not treated seriously, but he has like a celebrity that's partnered with him in every episode. And like it's all like improv where they don't know what's going on. But anyway, the reason I thought of it is Marshawn Lynch is on one of the episodes from season 1.
Yes,
so.
he is. He pops up immediately.
He's been in a lot of stuff I didn't,
Yeah,
I didn't know he's been in so much.
Murderville's also on Netflix. Go and check that out. That's definitely worth checking out. All right, that'll do it for Mount Rushmore +1. Time to talk about what we love from sports this week and who are the worst people in sports this week. I think I'll just start off here because it's probably a shared one that we can all have as our worst person in sports this week. But Tiger Woods, getting the Dewey with initially when reports came out. Obviously, we still want him to be okay, and all reports are he wasn't injured, so I think we can have fun with it. But when you hear he rolled his car, it's like, oh damn, hope he's okay. And then they find out, well, he didn't fail a breathalyzer test, but he refused a blood test, and he's been arrested for, I guess, pills. I don't know what the substance was that he was inebriated by.
If it's a DUI, then that means it could be affiliated with pills. If it's a DWI, then that means it's alcohol related.
Oh, okay, it was a DUI. Yeah, it was a DUI. So that was one of the worst people in sports this week. Johnny, I've got audio for this one, as you know. My other worst person in sports this week, Iowa, for deciding to only Nebraska. Nebraska for only putting 4 players on the court when Iowa got this dunk.
And they get it off to Tate Sage. Fulgaris hammers it home!
So, yeah, if you didn't see that play, the game is still kind of within reach. It's about a minute left, and Iowa's up by 3. But for some reason, Nebraska only puts 4 on the court. So Iowa, who's inbounding the ball, just full court passes it, gets a wide open dunk, and goes to the free throw line, puts the game up to 5, and the game is over at that point for Iowa. So what are you doing? Only putting 4 on the court. I've never seen that in that sort of situation.
You're not going
to. Like football players, I know they still have 12 men on the field occasionally, but you see them counting. Like in basketball, you only got to count 5, man.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go to the second hand. Like, how do you not, like, 1, 2,
Yeah, but they're
3,
not
4?
going to classes. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
Facts, especially. All right.
Well, shouldn't it be the coach who's counting?
Yeah, someone's got to be counting, right? Do we have enough time for this next piece of audio, Johnny? How long is
probably
it?
not.
Probably not. Okay, so Christopher Jackson, who played George Washington in Hamilton, was, and that's key to keep in mind with this. They played George Washington in Hamilton. He was asked to sing the national anthem the other day at a baseball game, and he got the lyrics wrong.
Yeah, I heard about that on the radio.
Like, I mean, forgetting
The
lyrics,
pause was hilarious.
Forgetting, find the audio yourself and listen to it. It's worthwhile. But forgetting the lyrics, one thing. Obviously, forgetting the lyrics for the national anthem when you're singing it at a Major League Baseball game. Another thing. It's another thing to also do that when you play George Washington in a major production.
Yeah,
so,
it's one thing if you do the national anthem and you just can't sing. Like, it's not your fault you got invited. But if you actually know how to sing and you forget the words, then that's just like a double whammy.
all right, Cam, what's your worst person in sports?
My worst person, I guess technically it's an organization. So I read that the Houston Texans sent some random streamer who's not even a Houstonian or a Texans fan. They sent him some like massive package of like a signed skateboard, all this sort of like memorabilia and stuff. And the funny thing is somebody's over here commenting like, wait, so season ticket holder for Texans fans can spend thousands of dollars, but all they send us is like a T-shirt and a plastic cup. Like, but it's true.
Yeah.
I would be annoyed.
So your worst person's the Texans?
I guess, or maybe it's just like the whole like streaming kind of thing. It's just like, why are you sending a massive package to a streamer who's not even a Texans fan?
The first time you said that, I let it go, but then you just said massive package again. And yeah.
Damn it.
You're full of those today, Cam.
Thank you.
All right, let's quickly
Do I need to play
slip over to
the intro into the show again?
Sorry?
Ryan? Do I need to play the intro to the show again?
I do not wish for you to do that, Johnny. Let's quickly talk about our laws. We won't play the audio here, but Barry Bonds told a story the other day that apparently he hung up on George Steinbrenner in the middle of contract negotiations and decided to go to the Giants. The fact that he had the cojones to hang up on George Steinbrenner, who apparently tried to hit him with like a timeline and an ultimatum, and basically told George to F off. That is the thing I love from sports this week. Cam?
Good for you, Barry. My favorite thing is we got women's basketball coming back to Houston.
Oh, man, you stole that from Johnny, but that's all right. We're out of time anyway. Retroactive worst person in sports, Cam.
What?
Still in Johnny's content. That'll do it for the bullpen this week. I'm Brian McDonald, joined by Cam Smith and John Belmer, as we are every week. We'll be back next week. Be good, Houston.
Shaq, damn, baby. I would keep your farts in a cologne bottle and spray it on me every day. Just jokes. I'm Shaq's. What's your name, baby?